Hello everyone, Amy R here with Prairie Paper and Ink, still cranking away at Halloween projects. So I wanted to play some more with these blending brushes that I showed in my most recent haul video. So these are the blending brushes from Picket Fence Studios, and I have them all sitting here, and I kept looking at the really big ones and I was like, would I really use these? I don't know. And then the big one especially, this one is huge. I was like, this would probably work really good on big full panels. So I wasn't really planning on making Halloween cards. I was just playing, but I was like, I should turn the camera on while I'm doing this. Who knows where it's going to go. So I have my card bases, which is Simon Says Stamps 120 pound cardstock. And it's cut to 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So it's top folding A2 card. And I'm just blending the ink directly onto my card front here. I did mask off the top portion just so I don't get ink, on the back of the card. And then I'm using Simon's dye inks for this. And for this card, I started with Orange Slush, and then I'm working my way to Dull Pink, and then I'm going to Lavender. And at first what I would do is I would just rub the brush onto scratch paper there off on the lower left and just ink up with the next color. And with the other few times I've experimented with these, what I've been doing is I would wipe the brush on a baby wipe, let it dry, and then next time I go to use it, it's fine. So that's been working, but then I figured out it works even better with a microfiber cloth. So I did this first background, and because these are dye inks, they do smooth out even more as they dry, so you get an even nicer blend. And I wanted to experiment more and play with more colors. So I got another card base, same cardstock at the 120 pound Simon cardstock. And with this color combo, I started with Audrey Blue. And I started in the middle because Audrey Blue was kind of basically my lightest color of these three. And this is where I pulled in the microfiber cloth, and that works even better. You'll see in a minute what I mean, but that really helps just kind of clean the ink between colors. And then I went on to Fern ink for the bottom, that's green, and then I would go kind of back and forth with the blue just to kind of get a better blend, because that is a much lighter blue, so these other colors kind of overpower it, just like this deep purple that I used here. This is a really bright deep color. So I would just wipe the brush off on the microfiber cloth, pick up the next color, and work my way into that, and it works. And like I said, these inks do smooth out as they dry, and they kind of soak into the cardstock, so it looks even smoother. But I had wiped it on the microfiber cloth, and you can see here I'm wiping it on a wet baby wipe, and there's no ink. So I was kind of really, pleasantly happy with that, because I had mentioned that in the haul video. I was like, I'm not going to have a blending brush for every single color of ink I have. Well, I would have tons. I have a lot of ink. But that's all I'm planning on doing, is I just wipe it with a microfiber cloth. I keep these cloths. I have a couple of them that I keep in my office, and I use them just for when I'm stamping, and then I wash them I don't know, I can't even remember how long it's been since I washed them. Once they're really full of ink and paint and stuff, that's when I'll wash them. So that works really well. These blended like a dream. I already said in the whole video, and then my last little video when I used the little brush, I'm pretty sold on these. They're pretty fun to play with. So I had these cards with these ink blended backgrounds, and I decided to make them very, very simple, quick and easy Halloween cards. So I'm using two different Picket Fence sets. This is If the Broom Fits and Wicked Together. And I just kind of mixed and matched the images and the sentiments and laid them all out on each of the cards. And then all I had to do was just lift those, put them into my stamp platform, and then I'm inking up the sentiments and the images all at once with VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and then just stamping that onto these card bases. Super, super easy. No real effort involved, not a bunch of layering or cutting or anything like that. I think this is the first card in, I don't even know how long I think that I've done no die cutting on. So did this with the exact same thing with the second card, had all the images kind of laid out, just made sure that, the sentiment was straight, etc. Put it into my travel platform, close the lid on all those images, and then I'm just going to ink these up with the VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and then stamp that onto the front of my card. And you can see here how the card base looks a lot different now that the ink is fully dried. These had sat overnight, and then I came back to them later to actually turn them into little cards. So stamped the images onto this one, and then since I have my platform out, I'm going to stamp the insides of the cards as well. So again, using images and sentiments from those same two stamp sets. So with this one, I'm going to ink up this image with the Audrey Blue ink that I used on the ink blending on the front of the card. And then the sentiment I'm going to line up, and then I'm going to just stamp that with the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I'm going to do the exact same thing to the inside of the second card. And you could leave it here. It'll be just fine. But I have to add something. I need some form of bling. So I decided not to bother with sequins or crystals or rhinestones or anything like that, because I was liking how I was keeping these completely flat, completely smooth. They're just, I don't know, as someone who does do a lot of layering and die cuts and bling and all that stuff, I was like, I'm kind of liking this. This is just a fun way to mix it up. So I was like, how can I add some bling without adding a bunch of like sequins, etc. And I remembered I have these shimmer spritz sprays from Imagine Crafts. And I have you can get the bigger bottles. I have just these little tiny bottles that come in a 2-pack. So I have the Frost and Sparkle pack. And I'll link to that. And I'll also, I think I can link to, I'm pretty sure, like I said, you can get larger bottles individually, which is pretty nice. I used one of each on each card front. I thought they were like just similar, just maybe a different kind of color of shimmer, but they're actually pretty different. They're described properly. One is more of a frost and one is a sparkle. So on this card, I used the sparkle spritz, and it is definitely sparkly. I'll turn the flashlight on my phone at the end, and you can really see the sparkle with this one. And then I used the Frost one on this card, and it's different. And I went heavy-handed. I wouldn't spray as much as I sprayed here because it ends up kind of taking over everything. Use a lighter hand. But I was curious. This one is definitely like a frost. It's more of just a shimmer, whereas this one is sparkly. So you can see the sparkle picked up with the flashlight of a phone. They're fun. They're so much fun to play with. So I will link to those as well as everything else. So really fun, just ink blending, silhouette stamping, and then some shimmer. Pretty easy cards. So like I mentioned, I will have links below the video to my blog post. I'll have links to all the supplies used, and you can check that out below if you're interested. Thank you all so much for watching and subscribing and thumbs upping and commenting on my videos. I really appreciate it. I will see you all very soon in the next one. Bye.